So we're gonna start by talking about like terms. So like terms, they have the same what?
They have the same numbers and variables.
The same variables, right? So they must have the same variable. But not necessarily the same number, right? Not necessarily the same, we call it the coefficient.
Oh.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So if I have, let's say, 3x, give me a like term for 3x.
2x.
2x. Right? 7x, right? Negative 7x if you want. Right? So all of these are like terms. That means we can put them together. We can add them together or subtract. Okay? How about if I give you x, y squared? Give me another like term for x, y squared.
X, y, yx squared? Wouldn't that work?
No, that won't be the same because then you don't have the same exponent on the letter. 3xy squared. Okay? xy squared. Right? Negative 5xy squared. Okay? These are all like terms. You can put them together because they have the same letter and the same exponent on the letter. You can only add and subtract. What kind of terms you can only add and subtract?
Like terms.
Like terms. Right? So if you're looking at this right here, so 9 minus 3x minus 8x plus 9x minus y. What are my like terms?
Minus 3x and plus 9x.
Minus 3x and plus 9x. These are like terms.
And minus 8y and minus y.
And then minus 8y and minus y, they're like terms. 9 doesn't have any like terms. Okay, so I have to put it, bring it down, so that equals to 9. What's minus 3x plus 9x? So what's minus 3x plus 9x?
Minus
6x.
6x.
Plus 6x, right? Because the 9 is a bigger number and it has a positive, so the positive wins. Okay, good. Now I have negative 8y, take away y.
Minus 9y.
That's right. Negative, thank you, 9y. Okay? Now if you look at this, there's no more like terms. There's like 9 is constant by itself.
Yes.
X, there's no other x's, and y's, there's no other y's.
Right.
Okay? This is example number 2. I'm sorry, it's very close to the 9. So I have 9x squared minus xy plus x minus 6x squared plus 8xy plus 9x. Let's find the like terms. So what's like term to 9x squared?
Minus 6x squared.
That's right. So you take it with the sign right in front of it. You see that?
Yes.
I'm highlighting the sign that's right in front of it.
Yes.
Okay, what's a like term to negative xy?
Plus 8xy.
Positive.
Plus 8xy. And then x plus 9. Okay? So we're gonna put the same color together. 9x squared take away 6x squared is
3x squared.
3x squared. You can do that on the calculator. You can do 9, take away 6, right? 9 minus
Plus 7xy.
plus
7xy.
7xy
Plus 10x.
You see that you're adding the coefficient, right? So the numbers, but the letter stays the same. We do that when the question is asking us to simplify or collect like terms. Okay? Now, when the question is to solve, solving equation is when you have that equal sign. Okay? And as you can see in the previous one, I did not have any equal sign anyway. Right? So we're just, all what we're doing is we're adding terms like together. Now, with this one, you will have an equal sign. As you can see here, we will have an equal sign. Okay? So solving equation, the purpose is to find the solution or the value for the variable that makes the equation true. Okay? So basically you're finding what the value of that x is, or the value of that letter is. Okay? So to do so, what do you have to do with the letter? Isolate it. Leave it by itself. Leave it on one side and move everything else to the other side. Okay? So to do this, you must isolate the variable, get it all by itself, okay? Use the distributive property if needed, okay? Remember that the distributive property, if you have like this, distributive property, that means you have to multiply the 3 times the x and the 3 times the negative 2. So that gives you 3x minus 6. Okay? So anytime you have that, you must choose a distributive property to get rid of that bracket. Okay? When you move terms to the opposite side of the equal sign, you must do the opposite operation. Just to recap, what's opposite of negative?
Positive.
What's opposite of multiplication?
Division.
Okay? And then it's vice versa, right? So opposite of positive is negative, right? Always ask yourself, what am I doing here? I'm adding, I'm moving it over, it becomes a subtraction, right? What am I doing here? I'm dividing. When I move it over, it becomes a multiplication, right? Ask yourself these questions. So remember, we had 2 types of solution. We had the type that requires 1 step. Okay? So I have y take away 7 equals to negative 11. What do?
7 will go other side as a constant.
You see, I'm subtracting 7 here. I want to isolate for y. So I'm going to have to bring the negative 7 over. It becomes a positive 7. So that's negative 11 plus 7 is
Minus
negative 4. That's it. Done. The question will be solve the equation. Okay? You have an equal sign and you're solving. How about here? What do I have to do?
3 you have to take other side.
Bring the 3 over.
It will become minus other side.
It becomes minus 3. So that is
7.
7. Then we have 2-step equations, right? The 2-step equations, they require you to move and then divide or multiply, so there's more than 1 step that we have to do, okay? So if you're looking at this one, you have 2x minus 5 equals to 11. What's my first step?
Minus 5 you have to take other side as a plus. Opposite equation. 11 plus 2x is equal to 11 plus 5, 16.
Now what do I do after that?
You have to
Divide by
2.
2, that's right. So x equals 16 divided by 2. Why am I dividing by 2? Because look here, 2 times x,
Yes.
right? So when I bring it over, it's going to become a division, because the opposite of multiplication is division. Okay? What do I have to do for this one?
Like term to be clear to left hand side.
I have to move both ways, right?
Yes.
Remember that I have x's on both sides of the equal, right? So I have to move the x to this side, and I have to move the number to the other side. You see that? So if I move the x here, it's going to become 3x minus 5x.
Is equal to
If I want to move this over, it's going to become 3.
plus 11. 14.
3x minus 5x is negative 2x equals to 14.
Actually, is equal to minus 7.
Then I have to divide by negative 2, right? Because I am multiplying by negative 2 here, okay? So when I move it over, it's going to become division by negative 2, so x equals negative 7.
Good.
Okay? Are we okay with this? You see, even when we're doing the grade 11 stuff, right, when you're trying to find the A value, right, we have to move things around, right, to solve for A. Do you remember that? We have to move things around. So this is going to be used no matter what grade level you're going to be at, okay? This math is going to be used no matter what grade level you're doing, okay? So it gets a little bit harder here. So I have this. Remember, the first thing you want to do, you want to get rid of the brackets. I just want to ask you, what's happening between that 3 and the bracket, the t minus 6? Multiplying, right? So I have to multiply that 3 in. We call that, what kind of property is that called?
You just said it.
It's right.
Distributive
Right
versus-
there. Distributive, right? It's distributive, right? So I have to distribute that 3 in. So I have to multiply the 3 by both terms. So it's going to be 3t minus 18 plus 8 equals.
And the result is 10t.
Same thing happens here.
40 plus 28.
Remember, this is multiplying.
Yes.
So I shouldn't put that equal sign right here. So I'm going to put. Because I already have an equal sign. I can't have more than one equal sign on the
Right.
line. So let's move the t's over. So I'm going to move the t here. And then I'm going to move the numbers to the other side. So 3t minus 4t equals.
28 plus 18 minus 8.
3t minus 4t is negative, right? Again, it's because the 4 has a negative sign, and 4 is a bigger number, so it wins. Okay? So negative t, and then this is going to be 38, right? 28 plus 18 minus 8 is 38. Now, can I leave it like this? Can I say negative t equals to 38? No, what do I have to do?
No. E
Change
equal
the
to
sign.
minus.
So divide by negative 1, right? Because to get rid of that negative, so t is negative 38. Okay? That would be your final answer. So divide by negative 4, what is that?
So that's what
That is right. Yeah, but then that's it, that'll be it, then you have to put it.
Okay, and then I
Huh? Okay. Okay, what do I do for this one?
Minus 8, you have to take it as a second first.
So bring the -8 over. Okay? Bring that -8 over. What does it become?
Add, add
Plus.
d by 2, 2 plus 8.
Now. So what kind of operation do I have here? What's happening? Division. When I bring it over, what do I do?
Multiply.
So D equals 10 times 2, which is 20. Now, I'm going to do a similar question, but a little different. Okay? What if, you're okay with that?
Oh, it makes more sense.
Yeah? Okay. Now, what if I have this? What if I have D state all over 2 equals 2? What do I want to get rid of first? Go ahead.
2 at the bottom.
That's right. In this case, that 2 is dominating, okay? Because it's all over the whole thing. So I have to get rid of it first before I can move other things, okay? So I have to multiply, right? So it'll be D minus 8 equals to 2 times 2, which is 4.
Adding minus 8.
Then move the 8 over, and it'll be 4 plus 8,
Right.
which is 12. You see the difference in the answer? They're not the same thing. Are we okay with that? Everyone? Yes? Alex?
Now let's multiply because you have to deal with the 2 first.
Yes, I have to get rid of this first, right? Because it's dominating the whole thing, okay? It's divided by the whole thing.
Think of it as you're trying to make the line straight again,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know what I mean? The equation's straight, so you take away the bottom.
So get rid of the bottom first, okay? So that will be 2 times 2 is 4. And then you have D minus 8 equals 4. Now I can move the -8 over, it becomes a plus 8. And I get the answer.
Okay.
We okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. The difference here is this one is only the D that's divided by 2, not the whole equation.
Yes.
Okay? So that's why this one I can move the -8 over first. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, yes. Today is the 14th. Can I move?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, when you're solving problems, remember we have to follow the GRASP method, given, required, analysis, solve, and paraphrase. There will always be a given and a required, right? There's always going to be something that's given to you. So they give you, let's say, X, and you need to solve for Y, okay? So there will always be a given and a required. So what you're solving for, you're going to have to substitute the given into your equation to find the unknown, And don't forget your therefore statement or your paraphrase statement. Okay? Remember to start with writing this. Can I see that? From yesterday. I'm going to go over question number 12 from the booklet from yesterday. And will give you some time to try the questions on the back. So Dwight is a race car driver. He knows the distance an object travels can be found using the formula d equals vt plus 1/2 at squared, where d represents the distance traveled in meters, v represents the starting speed in meters per second, t represents the time interval of the trip in seconds, and a represents the acceleration in meters per second square during the interval. Dwight travels 43,000 meters by accelerating at 24 meters per second squared for 30 seconds from a fixed starting speed. What is Dwight's starting speed? Too much information in there. Let's start with writing the formula. So the formula is d equals vt plus 1/2 at squared. What does d represent?
Distance.
Okay. What does v represent?
Starting speed in
Speed.
meters.
That's right. What does t stand for?
Time in
Time in seconds. Right? Time interval in seconds. Yeah. What does a represent? Acceleration. Good. T stands for time, so it's the same thing for these two, right? Time is time. Now, let's look at what's given to us, because remember, in the equation, we have to start with the given, right? So what's given to us? I know that Dwight travels 53,000 meters. What does that represent?
Distance.
Distance. So I know that D is 53,000. Okay? Now, by accelerating at 24 meters per second squared, what does 24 represent? Accelerating.
Oh, A.
A, acceleration. Right? For 30 seconds. Time. So, I have this, I have this, I have this. What's the only one I don't have? Speed. Look what the question's asking you. What is Dwight's starting speed? So I'm looking for, which is what letter?
S.
No, it's V.
Oh, sorry.
Right? I'm looking for V. Okay? I'm just gonna erase that second because I don't need it.
Starting speed.
Okay? So I'm looking for V. The formula that I'm gonna use is the one that they gave me, right? So I'm gonna write it down in the analysis. D equals VT plus 1/2 AT squared. Okay? Now all what I have to do is I have to plug in my numbers. Alright? So instead of D, I'm gonna replace it with, I'm waiting for you guys. What do I replace D with?
53,000.
Do I know what V is?
No.
You do
No.
No. What's
Kind
T?
of by 30
Second.
Hmm?
plus half. Acceleration is 24. And T 6 seconds.
You see how I have placed every letter with the number that it represents? Okay, we call this substitution. I'm substituting the letter with the number. So now the question is, how do I simplify this? What do I have to follow?
The 30.
Bad math. That's right, bad math. So what's first?
Brackets.
Brackets.
So the brackets mean anything inside the bracket. Can I simplify anything inside the bracket? It's already simplified, right? You see that there's only one number, right? So what comes after the brackets?
Exponent.
Exponent. Where do you see exponent?
At the end.
At the end. So it's the 30 squared, right?
Plus half by 24 by 900.
Okay? So 30 squared is 900, which is 30 times 30, right? Now, after exponent, what do I have to do?
It multiply
Multiply,
multiply
see.
and half of it you have to take.
Okay, so I want you to look here for a second. I have a half times 24 times 900.
900
Okay.
multiplied by 24 divided by 2.
That's right. So you can put that on the calculator, okay? So that's 12 times 900, so 9 should be 18,000. Is it 18,000?
216,000.
Are you ready? 108.
108? That's it?
900
10,000, 10,800.
That's
10,000. I'm gonna write it as 30V, right? Because it looks nicer. Plus 108,000, right? Alex, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what do I have to do after that? Yes, go ahead.
Did you like, what
We-
did you get that number? Did you like times?
Yeah, now multiplied by.
I multiplied, sorry, just one second. Just one
One by
second.
two.
Just one second. I did 24 times 900 times a half times 25 you can do, or divide by 2.
Yes.
Okay.
It will become 5,400. Above, sorry,
The half and the.
4,000. Divided by 2.
Oh, it's.
No, it's already divided by 2.
You times it by a half, right?
Yeah, you times it by half.
So she did the brackets first,
Yeah.
and then she times the half by
Yeah.
the other bracket. basically.
Times 0.5.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks, guys.
Alright, now I have to bring the 108,000 over. Right? Because I'm adding 108,000.
Okay.
Remember, I'm isolating for V. That's the whole process. That's the whole point of this.
Madam?
Yes. Go ahead.
If I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
you have to, I mean, what? Put out of 900 and 24, you have to divide by 2 also.
I did.
4.
And that would be this.
So,
Okay?
So what you're saying, you times the 24 and the 900 first?
Yes.
Then you.
Multiply by 0.5.
Oh.
What do you guys get?
second value, subject 20,000.
Okay?
Okay, that's what I got.
Because one day something here. Zero, minus 5. That is greater number. That's the greater number. Second.
What do I do after that? What do you get?
You have to divide.
Yeah, 10,800 or 10,000?
8,000, or, yeah, 800. Wait, no.
800, so I added an extra zero?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I made a mistake here and I added an extra.
Did you though?
I don't know, I don't have
I
a
don't think you
calculator.
did.
Can I
Okay,
see?
let me do it.
I don't have a calculator, so,
0, 0, gone. 5, 5, 0.
yeah, it's 10,800. So that means there's a mistake here as well. There's an extra zero. Sorry, Alex, I'm gonna use it.
That's okay.
You said you help after.
Yeah. Okay?
Okay.
And then I have to divide by 30. And it is 1,406 point. It's a bit too big though for our speed.
This 1,406.7, what it is, what is the unit of?
That's the speed.
That's the starting speed.
No, I mean, what is the unit of it? I mean,
I'm trying, it's probably meter per second. Speed is meter per second.
We
Yeah.
break that up.
Yes.
Is equal to 140.7 meters per second. Madam?
Yeah.
If you know, I want to know how to read in Canada. I read in my country 1,08,000. How do you read in this country? I don't know.
10,000. Oh, this one?
How to read?
With a zero or without the zero? Is it this? We
Ten?
fixed it.
Yeah.
Is it this?
Yes, yes.
The one that, this one?
Yes.
108,000.
One-
So you put a zero,
Oh.
that's comma right here.
Our Indian method is different.
This is 108,000,
Okay.
right? This is 10,800.
Yes, in my country, you know, the upper number is called 1,08,000. 1 lakh.
1 leg?
Lakh. Not million. Something else, you know. 1 lakh people. You know?
That's what he calls the numbers.
First zero, please don't interrupt. First is 1, it is a 10, 100, 1,000, then 10,000, that's 1 lakh. Yeah. See, first zero is 1, another zero is 10.
Yeah,
Another is
so
100,
ones,
10,
tens, 100,
1,000,
1,000,
and 10,000. It is
10,000.
Indian way. Then after that, 1 lakh in India.
they don't have 100,000.
Yes.
Seems like
That's why I was asking how to read it, you know.
Yeah, that's 100, 108,000.
Because when I first, you know, they do not know how to read the number. I
Mm.
observed.
Good to know,
They
good to
do not
know.
mind, you know. They
Yeah,
should learn
yeah, yeah.
How to read it.
Yeah,